recording. Well, hello. Here we are at the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. Let's give us some sparkle fingers to everybody that's coming on and also watching the replay. Oh my goodness. I am so grateful each of you are here. Makes my heart so happy. Thank you. Thanks for taking the time. I have been preparing for our program today, how to break into corporate coaching and consulting. I think honestly for about 15 years. And I don't know why I've waited so long. So how many of you know that you know things, but you're kind of like going, oh, doesn't everybody know this? You know what I mean? Can you relate? Yeah. So here we go. We have some gentlemen joining us because we welcome ladies and gentlemen and just we want everybody to come in. Okay, here we go. Very nice. And Christina, could I ask you, would you be able to be our co-host and would you be able to let our party participants come on in? Really
Sure,
nice.
no problem.
Thank you so much. Great. Because you know what? We all need our wing women. And all of you, if I asked any of you, you would be the wing woman for me on this program. So thank you to each of you. So I am curious, by a show of hands, how many of you would say that you are a corporate coach or consultant? Give me a little raise of hands here. Yes. Okay, excellent. How many of you would like to enhance or increase and do more corporate coaching and consulting? Give me a little sparkle fingers here. Yes, that's why you're here. Hello. So let's go ahead. I want to share a couple slides with you and be sure if you haven't put your LinkedIn information, contact information in the chat, we want to make sure that everyone can get connected after our program. So glad you're here. And, you know, this is such a timely, important topic. And it's, by the way, I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. And I'm so delighted to lead our council because we specialize in timely, informative, excellent topics. We want to promote, showcase, and highlight you as a thought leader and trusted advisor. So just so happy that you're here. And the intention of our program is to share with you tactical things that you can take with you so that you can break into corporate coaching and consulting. And I know something about this. So I'm bringing credibility, I'm bringing experience to our topic today. I have had the great opportunity to work with some of the best companies in organizations in the United States and beyond. And large companies, small companies, I could list pages. But the bottom line is this is not about me being a great coach consultant. This is about you and what's possible for you. Okay, because as many of you know, one of the biggest soapboxes that I have, and I'm big advocate about this, is we have to have a diversification in our income. Okay. And, you know, even if we're kind of thinking about what's next for us in our careers, maybe we're thinking about, hey, I want to just work part-time. I want to spend part of my time at the beach. I want to spend part of my time at the lake, in the mountains, wherever. I want to have a freedom lifestyle where I can work wherever my laptop is and where I got a Wi-Fi connection is where I'm working or not. So options are really important. So give me some sparkle fingers here in the gallery mode if you would love more of a freedom lifestyle. Income, work when you want, with whom you want, when you want, how you want, and have more fun in your work. Good. So believe it or not, corporate coaching and consulting lets you do that. I promise you. So I want to mention to you, I've been able to create all of this living in Woodstock, Illinois, where we, in our little town of 25,391 people, our claim to fame in Woodstock, Illinois is that the movie Groundhog Day was filmed in our little town. Okay. How many of you seen Groundhog Day? Cute movie. I get no royalties or affiliate any affiliate from Groundhog Day. But so it's what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is if I can do it, you can do it too. All right. Because I believe so strongly in the 60-mile rule. Okay, the 60-mile rule. How many of you know about the 60-mile rule? Okay, feel free to take some notes. I don't want to be on constant planes. I don't want to be traveling nonstop. And I have built a business, and you can too, where you build a very solid business, a very solid following, thought leadership, contribution, volunteering, getting connected, getting dug in into your community within 60 miles. Everything that you need to build a successful business is within 60 miles of the businesses that you would like to work with, the businesses who know other businesses, the affiliations, the connections, and everything you need is right in your own backyard. Now, that's a topic for another council meeting. So I'm already generating new ideas. So the purpose is, many of you live in Atlanta, Dallas, the New York City area, my goodness, San Francisco, Phoenix. You live in major metropolitan areas, and Minneapolis, Carol Kammermer, so literally you can do this in your own backyard. Okay. And what I want to do is mention quickly before we get into the meat and the nuts and bolts, and I'm going to also open up our conversation here very soon for your experiences. My experience in corporate was I was involved with 3 public offerings. So I was an early stage gal with tech companies. So right out of college, I'll stop sharing here. Right out of college, I had a great opportunity to get into the technology field. I knew nothing about technology. I was a history major, okay? But was able to get into some very early stage Silicon Valley companies and proceeded to work with 3 different ones. I was in charge of sales and marketing for these companies. Went public with several companies, didn't need to work anymore, technically, but I wanted to work. And what then happened is throughout my career, I started to experience burnout, and burnout is real. I ended up, as my slide was showing here, where I ended up on a Saturday morning going to the emergency room at St. Joseph's Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, thinking I had had a heart attack. Now I was 39 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Shouldn't be having a heart attack at 39, but I had such a go-go lifestyle, leaving on Sunday night, coming back on Friday night. Anybody know what I'm talking about? The corporate burnout. Yeah. And ended up spending 2 days in cardiac intensive care and was released with a prescription for verapamil and a prescription from this doctor to slow down and take vacation. Well, I knew that that was not going to work. Okay. And I needed to change my lifestyle. I needed to change my whole business structure. And honestly, I made a vow on the steps to St. Joseph's Hospital that I was never coming back there again, ever. And I was going to learn what I needed to learn to change my life, change my career. And I'll be very straight with you, ladies and gentlemen. For many years, I was pissed off at my corporate job. I was pissed off and made a plan to leave. But now I've come to realize corporate was not the problem. It was that I did not have the tools to respond and say no, set my own agreements, do all the things that I needed to do to be a successful employee. I needed a coach, and I hired one. So I made a plan to leave corporate and be able to make a difference in corporate. So I'm sharing with you today that the opportunity for you as a corporate coach, consultant, trusted advisor, thought leader, it is real. This opportunity is real for you. Now, the important thing is to have strategies to get in, stay in, and thrive in as a corporate coach consultant, because you're going back to an environment which for many of us was very toxic. For how many of you was the experience in corporate great, but there were times when it was a toxic environment? Can you relate? Yeah. So I'm here to tell you the experiences that you had in corporate are the ones that you get the great privilege and opportunity to go back in and change and heal and make a big difference. And by the way, I'm just putting a little plug in here. Next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're going to have a 4-day challenge where you're going to be able to go into your experience in corporate and be able to tease out where's the opportunity for you. And we're also going to do a little healing, because I noticed there's still some trauma, believe it or not. I had it for years on going back into corporate. I don't want to go back into that environment. I'm done with that environment. I've transformed. I'm moving on. Well, there's an opportunity for you to go back in and make a big difference. Okay. So that's what we're going to focus on next week. And so, but getting back to what the opportunity is, ladies and gentlemen, friends, that, you pick up a headline on any newspaper or any news feed that the transformation of corporate is on. Okay. Women and men are leaving corporate in drones, in large numbers. Women are saying, hey, I need something new and different. And the bottom line, though, is this gives you an opportunity. Business coaching in the United States, it's at an all-time high. And it's Ibis World has said that it's a $12.4 billion with a B billion-dollar opportunity. Business consulting, management consulting is at an all-time high as well. So people in corporate need our help, okay? And why this opportunity is so critical is corporations make up in the United States of America only 5% of the businesses, but yet 62% of the revenue. Just take that in for a minute. It's a very small percentage of the total number of businesses, but they make up 62% of revenue, okay? And many coaches and consultants, trusted advisors, thought leaders, lawyers, consultants, CPAs, every kind of profession you can imagine, they're focusing in on the micro businesses, the 1 to 9 employees. And I'm encouraging all of us, starting today, to start to think about bigger businesses. The United States Census Small Business Administration says that small businesses, are categorized 10 to 49 employees, medium-sized businesses, 50 to 249, large enterprises, 250 employees or above. And so, friends, I'm also saying this is not just corporate. This is for-profit, non-for-profit, education, government, divisions of companies, subsidiaries of companies. The opportunities are very, very, very exciting. Okay. So I want to pause for just a moment and stop sharing. This also gives me an opportunity to rest my voice and get you speaking into our program today. What do you see is the opportunity for you in all of this that I've presented? I'm coming at you with a lot of stuff because that's how I roll here, ladies and gentlemen. What's emerging for you right now? Where's the opportunity for you? Yeah, thank you, Yvette. Welcome. Glad you're here. Please take yourself off mute and jump right in.
Thank you. I'm very new to the network. I just became a member not even a week ago. Thank you so much for the invitation. Kathleen, I totally relate to what you're saying. Since 2011, while I was working in a university, and I had worked there for quite a number of years already, I experienced a lot of bullying, a lot of microaggressions, cliques, all of that. And little did I knew that my field that I chose to go into, which is conflict resolution, negotiation, and peace building, had a lot to do with mediation, bullying, and all that. I just didn't know, but I fall on it because I love the idea of helping organizations to have a more harmonious workplace relationship, because ever since I came out of the university of a bachelor's degree, I was working for a lot of nonprofit organizations and well-meaning people that were board directors, executives, and staff wanted to contribute and give to the community through the means of the nonprofit organization, but there was always human conflict. And by default, I have always, or by my personality, have always been a connector, but I always felt that I needed some skills in order to help organizations, and I fell in love with this degree. But little did I knew that what I was dealing with at the point where I was taking my master's degree was part of this field. And
Yes.
I took it
Yes.
upon myself to transform and say, I'm suffering right now. I'm going through a lot of hardship in the workplace, but
Yes.
I'm going to use that in order to help organizations when I develop my consulting business. And
Great.
since 2011, I opened up my consulting business, and I was just doing it little by little. I still haven't created that impact that I want, because not a lot of people know that the field work that I do.
Yes.
We're becoming a little bit more noisy in this
Thank
field,
you.
but that is my hope, and that is my passion, to go in organizations and help organizations create more inclusive and harmonious workplace, so that the people that work there can be healthy and
Wonderful.
productive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Yvette. Thank you. Great example. Yes. Thank you. Because, it takes something to step back and get that perspective of what did I experience in my corporate life, so to speak, because that was a life. And what did I learn, and what impact can I make? And I'm going to come to Deb first and then Christina next, of course. But it takes a bit of perspective. It takes also, I believe, a good coach and a very good community to help you see that. Because for many years, I didn't see that. I just was filled with resentment. I was filled with the corporation was the problem. No, the corporation wasn't the problem. It was my inability to deal with the issues. Hence, I needed a coach, as I said, and I got one. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yvette. Very beautiful. Christina, you had something to say. Deb Creer, you had something to say. What's emerging for you around all this
Deb,
great?
Did you want to go?
I'll go ahead and go. Am I
Yeah.
unmuted?
Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. I launched my own business 20 years ago, and was let go. It was really funny. I was let go from the big corporation that I worked for. I mean, at that point, they were the 7th largest in the world, and my first client was that corporation, because what they did was they let their marketing people go, but they still had the need for it. And so I was able to go back and I knew everything I knew what they were doing. And so I was able to go back, and it's a little bit different for me, because many companies, unless they are gigantic, have always outsourced marketing, social media, things like that. And so it's been easier for me to be able to do it. So like I said, I've been very fortunate, but yeah, it was bizarre that my first client was the place that had let me go.
And how fortuitous. And you've been able to parlay that into so many other opportunities.
I know. It's just, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yay. Congratulations. And let's just do a little shout out. Deb Creer, esteemed faculty, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, going on your 800th podcast.
800 will be, I'm actually recording it tomorrow, but it will air at the end of the month. So
How about that? Big cheering. Yes, we're doing big things in our council, aren't we? Awesome. Great. Very nice. Thank you. Christina, jump in. You've had tremendous corporate experience. You've been able to parlay that into so many exciting things with your Philosophers Council and new things that you're creating. Jump in, dear. Can't wait to hear you.
For a long time, so I had about a 20-year career in corporate, but in different environments, from bootstrap to startup to accelerated growth, like all different life cycles of a business. And I worked in very intense environments. And I almost had a very similar experience to Kathleen, where I was in these environments that were really having an effect on my mental health.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Now, understand, this is now coming from a person who has been out of that world for about 3 or 4 years. But while I was in it, I just said to myself, like, why am I doing this? What does this all mean? And now that I've been out of it, I'm so grateful that I went through these experiences, because I have embodied a lot of the challenges and angst and just some of the things, a lot of the things that people are still experiencing today, even though I've been out of it 4 years ago. And one thing that I want to say is, I've gone back and read white papers around, change initiatives from like the 80s and tech companies. I kind of like to see. And what they were facing in the 80s and in the 90s we are literally still talking about the same exact issues today. No one's going to solve it. No one's going to crack the code. We're all just sort of chipping away at trying to make things better. So the way I'm looking at it is my 20-year hellish career is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Because it actually enables me to go in and have the conversation of like, do you know that half of your team out there has their foot out the door? Like, it enables me to have the language and the insight of what's going on and to have those conversations. So that's one thing.
Yes.
So if you're ever feeling a little, a little bit in doubt about your qualifications or your skills, if you've been an employee, if you've been a manager, you've got the skills. Like, that's it. You have the knowledge. So the second thing related to what Kathleen was saying regarding the 60-mile. Okay, so here's the story. There was the CEO of this multi-million-dollar company that was creating a brand new category in home ownership and real estate, extremely progressive company. He loved philosophy. So for those of you who don't know, I combine philosophy for the workplace. That's what I teach CEOs about philosophy. So he actually loved philosophy. He was like the perfect client for me. He had come on my podcast. We had a friendship and relationship, and I was, trying to work in how we could work together. And he loved my ideas. I wanted to start an academy within his company, teaching Aristotle's principles, et cetera, et cetera. And the one reason why he decided to stick with his current business coach was because his business coach he could go and walk around the block with. And that's what he told me. He said, I love it. I love what you're doing. I love it. I love it. But my business coach, I can call him up right now and take a walk around the block with him, and he can help me like that. And that was something for me. Just, there was nothing I could do about it necessarily, but just something for me to, and I'm reading the tea leaves also, Kathleen.
Yes.
CEOs and HR, they are desperately trying to get people back into the office.
Yes.
Which means you are going to be expected to run your initiatives or your workshops or your coaching in the office. So that 60-mile rule is going to become even more important, because you are going to be one of the only people who are going to be really knocking on their door and say, let's do a workshop in the office with your team. And that's going to kind of hit that nice sort of thing that these managers and CEOs are really trying to accomplish. So that's it. Okay, I'm
Brilliant.
done.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yes, yes. So thank you, Christina, because a point that I'd like to make is this is your business, and you get to, now I, as your coach and consultant, I get to get up in your business, and I love doing that, and not in a weird way, but you get to craft your business however you want to craft your business. And I belong to so many associations and organizations, and one of my sweet spots is HR, SHRM, Society of Human Resource Managers. It's one of the groups that I belong to. I belong to other groups, but HR people, bless these people. They consistently tell me that human resources would be so much easier if it weren't for the human in the resources, right? So, these people need us more than ever. And so, and CEOs need us, and employees need us, because the truth of the matter is, I found this for myself. There were things that I was experiencing corporate that I couldn't go to my manager and talk about. I couldn't go to HR and talk about. These were really important career decisions that I needed to make. I couldn't tell my HR person that I was thinking about leaving and starting my own business. Hello, they would be like, radar up. So how many of you can relate to what I'm saying? Is clients need a trusted advisor. And for how many of you, you have not only one, but two coaches? Hello, I have three coaches, because one person, one coach, one expert, one trusted advisor, one thinking partner does not, fill up every need that we have. Okay. Do we think for a moment that high performance athletes only have one coach? No. So there's so many business strategies. And when people can, of course, have coaching reimbursed, partially reimbursed by their employer, that's fantastic. And what we know is true is that when people pay, they pay attention. Okay. So all roads lead to diversification. So I'd like to jump in for just a moment, and we're going to wrap up before the top of the hour. Maybe we need a little stretch. Who needs a little stretch here? This has been intense, huh? Who's getting some new ideas, some new thoughts? Yeah, we're going to have the recording. We'll put the recording on our YouTube channel. Yeah. And so glad that each of you are here. So let me just jump in and let's get to the practical nuts and bolts of this. Okay. Why do organizations, corporations, associations, government, education, all kinds of companies, why do they hire coaches and consultants? Okay. And I'm just curious, it's important to know that, you've got a role as a coach where you're helping the client find the solutions, you're mentoring them, versus a consultant, which you're more telling them what to do. You're giving them strategies. You're more directive. How many of you would say you do a little bit of both, coaching and consulting? Okay. How many of you would say you're strictly a coach? Okay. How many of you? Yeah, exactly. In this world, it's really, our roles of what we do are sometimes intermingled. Okay. But why companies want coaches and consultants is all of these things and more. And I'm just curious, who would love to take themselves off mute and just read quickly through this list of why do corporations hire coaches and consultants? We want to get your voice in here. Michelle McGlade, can I count on you? Jump in, lady.
You can count on me. So why do corporations hire coaches and consultants? They hire them for retention, leadership, teamwork, communication, healthy conflict, client retention for sure, sales, problem solving, career coaching, work-life balance, which means retention, really, strategic thinking and planning, competitive edge, supply chain, vendor relations, a healthy workforce, and personal growth and development.
Thank you, Michelle McGlade, esteemed faculty, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. By the way, if you have not seen Michelle's replay on our YouTube channel, it's a must. It's an absolute must. Michelle, you led a phenomenal program on what's next for you. It was just awesome. We're still in the afterglow. Thank you. Yes. So this is just a short list, friends, about why do corporations hire coaches and consultants. And can you see yourself in one or more of these things? Okay. Yeah, really a great opportunity. And of course, tactically, what is it that we're doing once we get into corporate? And who else would love to jump in and read the list over? Love to get your voice in. Susan K. Younger, could I ask you, you have such a lovely voice too, if you'd like to.
I would be happy to.
Thank you. Another esteemed faculty, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, bank code expert, human design, environmental, life architect, all those good things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What do corporations hire coaches and consultants for? Speaking, retreats, strategic planning, team building, leadership development, board development, executive coaching, high potentials coaching, councils, masterminds, ERP consulting, turnaround consulting and coaching. Fabulous
Excellent.
list.
It is. Thank you. And it really is a short list, isn't it? Of all of the things that we can be doing. And you know, the purpose of today is to expand your perspective on what you can be doing. And then what are the opportunities? Next week during our 4-day challenge, we're going to get into the tactical parts of determining what you can specifically do to get in and get your first corporate client or expand your current work. But the key here really is, ladies and gentlemen, the key here is that the success strategy for corporate coaching and consulting requires results. Okay. That's really ultimately the bottom line. Now, yes, there are some initiatives where they have to check off the box and they want to give an employee coaching before they decide to do other things with the employees. Employment, you know, there's a variety of things, but the key here is to ask yourself, what problems are you solving? Okay, we really are hired to solve problems and create opportunities. Okay.
Kathleen,
Yes,
Kathleen,
please.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but there's that, what you're saying is a really nice segue to a question Angelic just posted in the
Oh,
chat.
thank you very much. Yes.
Which is, does anyone have an idea on how to price for corporations? So we
Okay.
really cannot get off this call until that question is answered, because I think it's really important.
Okay, beautiful. Let's plan to do that because we'll have some Q&A here in just a moment. This is excellent. Thank you for that. Great, good. Thanks, Christina. Appreciate that. And thank you for the question as well. Yes. So, you know, what problems are you solving? Who owns the problem? You know, who is trying to solve this problem? Is it the sales division? Is it the manufacturing group? Is it within the manufacturing group, the leadership team, or is it employees on the front line? I had a great privilege to coach and mentor 64 employees at a local manufacturing company. And I was their executive coach from the CEO to the managers in all the different departments to some of the frontline workers. And I want to tell you, it was the most glorious coaching opportunity that I had. And I utilized my trademark program called Team Intelligence. And again, we're going to talk about this in a moment, but it's so important to have systems, to have frameworks, to have structures, to have things that you can offer to your potential clients and your clients. Because I'll be real straight with you folks. If you call up the switchboard and you say, hey, I'm a coach and who do I need to talk to who needs coaching? Probably not going to go so well, right? So knowing the corporation, doing your research, obviously, in getting to know through networking, who are the key individuals, and getting yourself in relationship with these people to really understand what are they experiencing? What are the problems? Who's the person who owns the problem, is looking to solve it? And then marrying with that, what are the systems and the solutions that you have? Okay. What's that specialized knowledge that you have, that experience that you have, so you can deliver results? Okay. Because I'll be very, very honest here, vanilla coaching is not going to get it done in most cases. Okay. We've got to be able to promise results. We've got to be able to partner for results. Okay. People are not hiring coaches and consultants to do it as a fun exercise. They're doing it for a reason. Okay. So let's pause here for just a moment, and we'll also talk about pricing. Okay. So if there are new things emerging for you around corporate coaching and consulting, give me some sparkle fingers. If you've had some new insights, new opportunities. Catherine Sellery, so glad you're here. Yeah, exactly. By the way, Catherine, esteemed faculty member, oh my goodness, is starting and enhancing her global parenting revolution and her movement on TV and all kinds of new things, and bringing parenting revolution into corporate. How many parents do you think would love to have coaching and mentoring and information about how to be a better parent? Hello, it's also about how to be a better employee, right? Yeah. Catherine, do you want to take a moment and share your perspective on corporate? How
Yeah,
you've
I'm
been
so
able to
excited.
take
What a
corporate.
great subject you've got going here. I'm sorry I had a client it ran over, but I'm popping in now. Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is probably for a lot of us, this is exactly where we want to be. And so I love that, you're honing in on that today, and that this is the subject matter for us to get into the professional services and the big business corporate, context, because that's where the pockets are. So for me, certainly, just having worked with parents one-on-one now for 25 years or in small groups, it's not anywhere near as lucrative as breaking into a corporate situation. So that's why I'm interested, because as you know, a lot of the same communication skills that make you an effective parent make you effective at anything. So it really is just about effective communication, problem solving, collaborative models, all the rest of it. And so I'm curious to hear, and hopefully you haven't spilled all the, beans about how we break into that, Kathleen.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Very nice. Thank you. Yes. And by the way, thank you, Catherine. And, next week's challenge, Tuesday through Friday, we're going to get into the specifics of your offer and how do you take your specific offer and find the ideal clients that are very close within a 60-mile radius, if optimum.
Love it.
And be able to take that into there. And what are you then offering? So yes, yeah, very good. So breaking into corporate is honestly easy. It's really easy. It starts with a decision. And it starts with understanding these are just people. These are just people that happen to have titles in organizations. But these are people who have needs and are fulfilling on their employment promise to their corporation. And they have got to get a job done, and the corporation needs for them to get a job done. And so the truth of the matter is they need you, okay? And we've gone through all of the ways that people can work with corporation, all of the reasons why corporations hire coaches and consultants. But it starts with, I believe, it starts with that one-on-one relationship. Who are you building relationships with? And how are you setting yourself up to be helpful and valuable to those individuals? And I have to say, every time I've gotten into corporate, whether it's the large craft foods, whether it's the local home state bank in my county, any of these, it started with relationships, starting with investigating the corporation. What is it they do? Who are their competitors? Who are their clients? What is it that they're going to accomplish, they want to accomplish this year? What's the competitive landscape? What are the problems that they're looking to solve? And how is it that you can help them solve those problems? So LinkedIn, I would say next week, of course, Tuesday through Friday, we're going to get into the tactics of this. But one of the important things is, how are you positioning yourself? Really important question. How are you positioning yourself? And Daniel Hodges, positioning yourself as an expert, as a thought leader, as a person who has a program and has solutions, or just a coach or just a consultant. Okay. And I mean that kind of tongue in cheek. So knowing the value that you provide and how can you work with clients, really, really key. We're going to talk about it next week. Pricing. Angelique, you had a question about pricing. Would you take yourself off mute and jump in?
Sure. Yeah. I was just wondering, yeah, I'm not in the corporate space. I am more a coach that works with, clients so we're not in the corporate space, but I help people create online courses. And so when they're having these online courses, I'm sure they would love to be able to bring them to a corporation. But
Yes.
I would be lacking in the area. I don't quite know how to tell them how to price it. Maybe they're going to license it. So I don't know if anybody had any expertise in that area, but I'm very open to hearing how do you do research, or, any information would be so helpful for me.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. So pricing is something we're going to talk about in greater detail next week during our challenge, but pricing is conditional on a couple things. Number one is, what's the value you're providing? Obviously, if you're providing a course or services that is something very transactional and easy to find, it's going to be a less of an investment for the corporation. And when it comes to coaching, consulting, speaking, all kinds of things, what's the transformation that you are promising? Okay. The greater the transformation, the greater the investment. Okay. So number one is, of course, what's the transformation? What are they willing to invest? What are they, and I'm just going to spew this as a stream of consciousness here, which we're going to talk about next week, but what's their budget? What have they invested in the past? What are they willing to invest now? And so having a whole strategy, Angelique, this is so important, a whole strategy on pricing, also for you and your clients to know what's the competitive landscape for you? What's kind of a traditional kind of daily rate or rate for courses? So we've got to do our competitive analysis as well. Okay, very good.
Can I just add another sort of angle regarding pricing?
Yes, love it.
Which is, see if you can quantify or come up with a cost of not
absolutely
getting an intervention. So this is just as an example. It costs, from my understanding, it costs about $40,000 to $50,000 to replace an employee.
At least.
And probably a 2-month to 3-month gap between an employee leaving and a new employee coming in, right? So if you are someone who focuses on coaching for retention purposes, you can say, look, I can work with your employees and get them engaged or re-engaged with their jobs or with their work or whatever, or give them soft skills development, or, get them to a place where they're not leaving. And with just that one intervention with that one employee, I'm going to save you $50,000. So just another way of thinking about your pricing is not just what they're going to pay for you, it's how their bottom line is going to be impacted if you're not there.
Absolutely. Christina, excellent point. Thank you, because it's the opportunity cost of not doing it. Okay. So next week, we're going to talk specifically about about pricing, about value-based pricing, an opportunity where you negotiate with them in your contract. We're going to talk about contracts, onboarding, your systems. How do you connect with clients? What's your agreements? We're going to talk about agreements next week as well. And it's all about what are you negotiating in the way of fees and the timing of fees. And then, of course, value-based fees, meaning when they get the value of your promises, you can earn more money. It's a tremendous, tremendous way of doing it. So you could take coaching fees of, say, several hundred, $1,000 per month per employee to a value-based fee based on results. So there's so many different models to look at, and we're going to take a look at those models next week. Daniel Hodges, you asked about successfully convey that my coaching is a safe place. Yeah, we'll talk about this next week during our challenge, but this is all about, are you setting yourself up for success in your presentation, in your value proposition, in your approach, in how you're positioning yourself? You're listening, you're questioning, all of these things, okay? And of course, saying that you're an ethical coach and you've got all these degrees and certifications, yes, is one thing, but then demonstrating it is another, okay? So let's move forward. Any other questions before we finish up here? Yeah, very good. Thank you, Susan K. Younger. Validate the cost of not taking action. Exactly. Yes. Yeah, very good. Great. Okay, good. So thank you for taking the time. We've covered so much in our time together. We've covered corporate coaching, the opportunity. Why do corporations and associations hire coaches and consultants? And then what do we do once we're in there? And, next week during our challenge, we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how can you create an offer that is appropriate for coaching and consulting. And then how do you investigate your ideal clients? And then how do you get in, stay in, and thrive in? We'll be focusing in on that next week. Okay, so let's finish up here. And by the way, if you've received at least 1 to 5 new ideas, give me some sparkle fingers. Yeah, excellent. Who's a little bit more enthusiastic about corporate coaching and consulting? You can do it. Let's do it. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. So finishing up with our time, because we always finish on time. We start on time and end on time. It's really important, and I highly recommend when we complete our call today, don't just jump on the next call, okay? Take a moment and stop to think about, hey, what could I be doing in corporate? What is it that I'm passionate about? What's my stand in the world? How can I go in and make a difference in corporate, okay? Based on my experiences, based on my point of view, based on my thought leadership, do I want to be speaking? Do I want to be involved starting a council or a mastermind group? What do I want to do? How can I make a difference? Okay. So when you show up as a corporate coach and consultant and you've got a particular point of view and you have a mission and a purpose for what you're doing and how you can transform people's lives through the work they do, hello, you're going to differentiate yourself. You're going to be able to break into corporate. Okay. So we'll be talking about that quite a bit next week. And of course, getting in, staying and thriving is the topic for our 4-day challenge, Tuesday, August 9th through Friday, August the 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to get into tactics. We're going to have a workbook. Highly recommend that you register for that. It's going to be super good. And, I also I just must do a big shout out to our women's coaching and consulting esteemed faculty who have led programs in the last couple months. Whoa, we have our own YouTube channel. One gal last week said, there's gold in those videos. I was so thrilled about that. She said there's gold. Okay. So big shout out and thank you to Michelle McGlade. Powerfully choose what's next for you. It was an awesome program, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And big shout out to Sherry James. We have said that her PMP designation is perfectly marvelous person. Yes, I think it's project management professional, but we think she's a perfectly marvelous person. Her program was spectacular. Become independently mentally wealthy. She could be, as well as Michelle, delivering those programs into corporate. Hello, and getting paid to do it. And of course, big shout out and welcome to our newest esteemed faculty members in our council, Nancy Geary, Kathy Dirksen, Linda Conyard, Michelle McGlade, and it was spectacular, okay? LaTanya Pouncey, one of our newest esteemed faculty members, Trisha Bright, and these two ladies, and as well as Gloria St. Martin Lowry, are going to be all presenting programs in the very near future. So we're very excited about that. Big sparkle fingers for our faculty. Woohoo! So exciting. And if you have not led a program in recent months, let's get together. Let's get a new program for you. Okay. And as we're finishing up here, I believe in the philosophy. Use this in corporate. Always have great things to invite people to. Okay. People love to be invited. People want to be involved. They want to learn. The Harvard Business Review just did a major study that said the number one reason that employees stay in corporate is because of progress and growth. Progress and growth. Look up the HBR study. Okay. Progress and growth. So come join us Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Central, 8 a.m. Pacific. We have an awesome time. Really, really great. We talk about topics, just a topic every week. No PowerPoint, no Zoom recording, no makeup needed. Just pop on and we have an energetic, enthusiastic, and thought-provoking conversation. 27 minutes. Okay. So as we finish up, it's your time, ladies, especially. It's our time, women. It's time to shine your light in corporate, in the world, in your point of view. We need more light. Okay. Bring your light. Come attend our Get in, Stay, and Thrive in next week. Come join us. We're going to talk about the specifics. I promise you by Friday, you're going to have a specific strategy and tactic on how to get your own corporate clients. You're going to be able to get it going. This is no theory. This is all practical application next week. Okay. So as we finish up here in a sentence or so, because we want to get around the room, what's your biggest takeaway? Jump right in. What's your biggest takeaway in a sentence or so? Okay. We've got just a couple minutes. Who wants to jump in? Yes. Thank you, Yvette. Ronnie, in a sentence or two.
I'm hopeful that I found the right place where I'm going to gain a lot of ways of how to really build my consulting work and make a difference.
Thank you, Yvette. Very nice. Sparkle fingers for Yvette. Yes, thank you. Ronnie, you jumped in. Susan K. Younger, jump in. Your biggest takeaway in a sentence or two. Susan, jump in, dear. And Ronnie next.
To me, it's that think bigger, think about something that you take so for granted, and what you know, you're not even stopping to think that it could be shared.
That's right. Yeah. Ladies, you're smarter and more talented than you give yourself credit for. Okay. We're going to bring that out next week. Okay. The ahas are going to be flowing and the cash flow will be coming. Okay. Woohoo. And the fun.
My biggest takeaway is not to just give peaches and cream. Yes, we all have something to give, but really put on our fingerprint, show them this is what's unique about me. And more than that, what do they have to lose? What do they have to gain? Yes, but also what could they lose? People are leaving because of corporate culture. They gain more by giving clients, their team members now coaching than risking losing their talent.
Right on, Ronnie. Love it. Sparkle fingers for Ronnie. Yes. And Susan K. Younger. Yeah. Biggest takeaway in a sentence or two. Who else? Deb Creer, Carol, Michelle.
The opportunities are out there. Take them.
Go girl. Yes. Thank you. Carol, Michelle, sentence or two. Takeaway. We're going to complete here.
So I love that you said, these are just people. They just happen to work in big corporations. The notion of forming relationships, because relationships is so very important to eventual sales.
Absolutely. Yes. And Carol, esteemed faculty member, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, Deb Creer as well, Susan K. Younger. Carol, corporations, they need to have employees that are espousing how great it is that they're working at that company on their LinkedIn profiles. So this is a tremendous opportunity for you. Wow. Can't wait. All right. Good. Thank you. Michelle McGlade jumping in. Catherine.
I was thinking a new way of thinking about what I do is I actually help my clients see that it's not the company, that it's them, and that I could apply that to any company in terms of retention.
Now, right there's $1 million idea, girl. That is awesome. Thank you. Really great, Michelle. And you will help them reframe that and transform their experience. Excellent. Very nice. Good. Thank you. Catherine, jumping in, biggest takeaway. You jumped
I
into
know
the fire.
I know I just jumped in here at the last minute, but actually I jumped in just as you said. For those of you who are thinking about getting into corporate, here's the secret. It's easy.
That's it.
I was like, oh, awesome. All right. Tell me everything you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Good. Yeah. And next week, thank you, Catherine, another esteemed faculty member. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All it takes is strategies and tactics, building confidence, doing the work. And I'm not saying abandon everything that you're doing. No. Just add it into your mix. Okay. Try it out. Let's have fun. Come to our 4-day challenge next week. We're going to get into the tactics of it. And I promise you, you're going to learn something that you can apply. And today was setting the stage. Okay.
Where do
Getting
we
you
sign
excited
up,
about it.
Kathleen? Where's the
Yeah.
link?
Thank you. Very good. I'm going to make sure that this afternoon, my team sends out the link to everything. If you go to C-Suite Network events, it's certainly in there, but I'll make sure that we're going to do a follow-up with all of the resources that we talked about today, along with the link. Okay.
Okay, great. Do you
Also-
you don't happen to have it to put in the chat, do you?
You know, I don't, but also
great.
go to our LinkedIn page, and our LinkedIn page has it listed there. Okay. Thank you. Good note to self, Catherine.
Do you have that LinkedIn link that you can put in the chat?
Very nice. Yes, I will do that.
And
Thank
then I
you.
can just click on it and find out, because I'm going to be there.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you so
I'm
much.
going to be there next week. Oh my God, are you
Alright.
kidding? I've already gotten value.
Thank you. Oh, Susan K. Younger, my wing woman. I love it. There it is. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm already over there.
Excellent. Very
I'm
nice.
in.
Good.
I'm in.
Thank you. Good. Thank you. And as we complete, thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Susan. Love it.
I'm excited.
Carrie Barrett, we'd love to have you jump in. And
Carrie, we're
complete our
all cheering
program.
for you.
There you go. Final takeaway in a couple
I-
sentences.
I literally got here like 3 minutes ago because of a client that, because of the corporate client that I'm working with tomorrow, I was putting the finishing touches on all my slides, and that took precedence.
Of course.
So I don't have a takeaway because I only caught you talking about what you have coming up next week, but I will be there. I just registered.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Making the choice. Great. So
Awesome.
with that, lots of love to each of you. Thank you so much. What a joyous time. Sparkle fingers, take yourself off mute. And let's say
This was
corporate
amazing.
coaching and consulting. Corporate coaching and
Corporate
consulting.
coaching and
Hey.
consulting.
Thank you. Mwah. Bye
Hot.
for now.
So hot.
See you
Thanks.
next Tuesday through Friday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.